When I was Vermont's representative in the U.S. House, I believe I was the first member of Congress to take American citizens over the Canadian border, in this case to Montreal, in order to purchase affordable prescription drugs. And, Mr. President, I will never forget the bus trip that we took over from St. Albans, Vermont, to Montreal, Canada. And on that bus, there were a number of lower-income women who were struggling with breast cancer. Many of them were using the widely used breast cancer drug called tamoxifen. And we got off the bus in Montreal, and we walked into the drugstore, and that had all been prearranged. And they walked in there, and they purchased tamoxifen. And at that point, and I'm thinking it's about 10 years ago, it's a while back, at that point, they paid in American dollars 1/10 of the price for tamoxifen in Montreal, Canada, that they were paying in the United States of America. 1/10 of the price for lower-income women who are struggling for their lives. So when you talk about morality here, I want some of my friends to explain why it is that the American people are forced to pay, by far, the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. Talk to physicians in Vermont. There's a doctor that I know in northern Vermont. She writes her prescriptions. 1/3 of her patients cannot afford to fill the prescriptions. So what's the sense of an examination, a diagnosis, writing a script when your patient can't even fill that script? The high cost of prescription drugs in this country is one of the major healthcare crises that we face. It is an issue that we have got to deal with, and we have simply got to ask ourselves why it is that the same exact medicine in this country costs substantially more than it does in Canada, Australia, or all over Europe. You know, Mr. President, there has been a lot of concern in this country about the lack of bipartisanship. Well, I have to say that on this issue, there is bipartisanship. That was true when I was in the House, and that is true here in the Senate. And let me just read to you the co-sponsors of this legislation: Democrats, Republicans, Independents. And I'll read them in alphabetical order. The bill is introduced by Senator Dorgan. Co-sponsors: Senator Begich, Senator Boxer, Senator Casey, Senator Conrad, Senator Feingold, Senator Inouye, Senator Klobuchar, Senator Leahy, Senator Lincoln, Senator McCaskill, Senator Sanders, Senator Snowe, Senator Stabenow, Senator Thune, Senator Bingaman, Senator Brown, Senator Collins, Senator Durbin, Senator Grassley, Senator Johnson, Senator Kerry, Senator Cole, Senator Levin, Senator McCain, Senator Nelson, Senator Shaheen, Senator Specter, Senator Tester. Widespread bipartisan support for legislation which says let's end the absurdity of the American people having to pay substantially more for the same exact medicine that is sold in other countries around the world. Let me just take a look at some of these charts. To begin with, we all understand that when you deal with the drug companies and the pharmaceutical industry, you are dealing with some of the most powerful lobbyists and forces right here in Washington, D.C. These people spend huge amounts of money on campaign contributions, huge amounts of money in lobbying. Just recently, in order to make sure that they got in under the wire in case there was some real reform passed here in Washington, they substantially raised their prices for particular drugs just in the year 2009. And here is the chart right here. Enbrel, 12% increase, single 12%, Plavix, 8%, Nexium, 7%, Lipitor, 5%, Bonvar, 18%. And one of the reasons that health care costs are soaring in America, one of the reasons that many seniors are having such a difficult time with health care costs is precisely the rapid rise of prescription drugs. Now, what I want to talk about now is, through this chart, just something that is really inexplicable, I think, to the average American. This is Lipitor, and that's a widely used drug. And here is the cost of Lipitor, the same amount. In Canada, it costs $33, France, $53, Germany, $48, Netherlands, $63, Spain, $32, the United Kingdom, $40, USA, $125, 4 times as much as it cost in Canada. Now, you explain that to me. Same exact medicine, made in the same exact factory, same exact bottle. And that is why, by the way, in the state of Vermont and all across the northern tier, people every day going over the Canadian border or using the internet to buy those drugs. So what we are saying in this legislation, let's end this absurdity. We are living in a global economy. I have a lot of problems with the global economy in many ways. But if, when we go Christmas shopping, the only products we can find are made in China, because we don't do too much manufacturing in America, and if when we eat lunch, we get lettuce and tomatoes from all over the world, what people are asking, why is it that we can't bring into this country FDA safety-approved medicine? We can bring lettuce in from the backwoods of Mexico, that's okay, but somehow when we have a handful of major pharmaceutical companies, presumably it's just too difficult to be able to bring them in safely into the United States. Nobody believes that for one moment. Let's take a look at another drug. Plavix. Same story. Canada, $85, France, $77, Germany, $85, Netherlands, $77, Spain, $58, UK, $59, and in the USA, $133. Same medicine. Nexium. Wow. I mean, somebody explain this to me. I really would appreciate it. Nexium, Canada, $65, Germany, $37, Spain, $36, UK, $41, United States of America, $424. 5-6 times more than in the United Kingdom. And people wonder why Americans are running over the Canadian border or they're on the internet trying to get this medicine. Now, why is it that the drug companies charge $424 here and $41 in the UK? Well, the reason they're charging it is because they can charge it. If you walk into your drugstore tomorrow, you can find that the prices that you pay double, triple, because in this country, we are the only country in the world that does not have, in one way or another, some kind of regulation on prices, because all these other countries, by the way, have national health care programs. That's another reason why their drug prices are much lower. We don't, of course. But at the very least, what reimportation is about is saying that in a global economy, when all kinds of products are running all over the world, we buy every day products from other countries, let the consumer, let the pharmacist, let the prescription drug distributor be able to take advantage of the global economy. I am not, I must confess, a great supporter of unfettered free trade. I think that has in many ways been a disaster for American workers. But to the degree that it is here, the degree that business people can run to China and pay workers there 50 cents an hour and so forth and so on, that is the global economy. Well, here's the global economy. Canada, $65, UK, $41, USA, $424. Why cannot prescription drug distributors purchase their products in the UK, bring them back into America so that we can substantially lower the cost of health care and prescription drugs for all Americans? Now, some of my friends in the pharmaceutical industry, we just can't, it's impossible to bring medicine in from abroad. It can't be done safely. Washington Post, 40% of active ingredients in U.S. prescription drugs currently come from India and China. Well, I guess that's okay for the pharmaceutical industry when it adds to their profits, but we can't do that to lower costs for the consumer. The Wall Street Journal, February 21st, 2008, more than half the world's heparin, the main ingredient in a widely used anti-clotting medicine, gets its start in China's poorly regulated supply chain. Well, I guess that's okay too. So where we are, Mr. President, is One of the many healthcare crises that we face in this country is the high cost of prescription drugs. And I think there is a lot that we have to do. Whether the Congress is capable of standing up to the drug companies and all of their money and all of their lobbyists remains to be seen. But this is, quite frankly, a no-brainer. For all of my colleagues here who believe in unfettered free trade, please do not be total hypocrites. If you believe in unfettered free trade, which I happen not to, if you believe that it's okay for American companies to shut down and run to China, if you think it's okay for people to buy any product anywhere in the world, tell me why we can do that for everything except for prescription drugs. There is no rational explanation. So this is legislation which has been around for years. The drug companies have fought it successfully for years. We now have widespread tripartisan support here in the Senate, a lot of support, I know, in the House. Let's finally stand up for the average American. Let's substantially lower the cost of prescription drugs. Let's pass prescription drugs reimportation.